Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna do a little something different. Can I be a little candid with you, a little real with you? This isn't gonna be like my normal fun, well, it might be fun for you because you're gonna get to like clown me a little bit. But this isn't like a typical video that I have done in the past. It is something that I have wanted to talk about for a while. Something I've always wanted to share like on my blog since I started it like way back when, even on the ones I've had before this one, like years ago. So yeah, this video, it is going to be a little bit on the serious side, just because it is talking about like some things that took me a while to get to a place where I feel comfortable talking about them, even just like to my husband or to friends, or even just like looking at myself in the mirror and admitting these things. Like it was always a little bit difficult, so bear with me as I try to keep myself composed. I even got like my little notes, y'all. Like I love an outline, so when I finally decided I was going to do this video, I like created an outline and I said, okay, I got to make sure I stay on track and on top of this subject so I don't like start wandering off a little bit. So if I keep like looking down and stuff, like, I'm sorry. I like to stay on the outline. So, all right, but before we get started, let's bring in the intro. Alright, so today I am going to share with y'all a little bit about my hair journey and my past hair trauma that I went through. To some people it may not seem like an actual thing, but hair trauma is something that people have struggled with, not necessarily from like an injury maybe or something on that scale of like a condition or anything like that, but it is something that has affected me throughout pretty much my whole entire life. So I wanted to share that with y'all today, especially like in this day and age. Like there are a lot of people who are having mixed children who grew up mixed and never really felt comfortable like talking about this. Like I kind of wanted to create this video with, you know, the intentions of sharing my story and hopefully, you know, being able to help you and yours, or, you know, your children or anything like that. But yeah, so this is my story about being mixed and my hair journey and finding my way through a hair trauma. So if you don't know me, my name is Bridget. I am half black, half white. I grew up strictly with my white side. I did meet my black grandmother, who I would always refer to as my black grandma. I think maybe 2 or 3 times, but I was really little. I remember like going over there. I remember like saying those things, but I don't remember like details, if that makes sense. Like I know I went to go see her and I know that I visited her, but I don't remember like really what she looked like. If I seen her in a lineup, I couldn't pick her out. Or like if I was to go like walk down a hall full of photos, like I couldn't pick her out. So I did not grow up with my black side. I do have a full brother who is half white as well, so we grew up together. And then I do have other siblings who are biracial as well, who I did not grow up with. So that's kind of like my makeup of me and what makes me me. Now, I will say this. Growing up I was born in the 80s, so growing up mostly in the early 90s, it's not like today. There's not like, you know, YouTube, there's not like videos, there was no TikTok, there was none of that to where you could see like videos, you can, you know, see products, you can really learn about these things. We literally only had like magazines in the grocery store. And if you know, like if you're my age, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like my kids, you know, when I was their age, like I lived for the magazine section at the grocery store. Nowadays, they just want to stay in the car. Like they don't even want to go. So they don't really know like that whole, you know, magazine aisle in the grocery store type thing. But that was pretty much all I had. So, you know, growing up with just my white side, I never fully had like a 100% connection to being black. Like I did have friends who were black as I had gotten older, but there was still never that 100% day-to-day in your face blackness. And it was missing from my life, and it was something that, you know, I didn't realize until I was older that it was like a real struggle for me. So now that you kind of know, you know, my makeup, what I am, kind of how my life started, we're gonna start with this, my hair journey. Y'all, like I'm really gonna try to keep to my outline here because there is so much that like I went through and that I want to talk about. So first, let's talk about the pre-phase. I'll just say the pre-phase. So growing up, I had really long hair. I don't remember what like type it was or anything like that. So I can't sit here and say, oh, I had, you know, 3A, or I can't really say, because, you know, back then that stuff never really came up. You just had straight hair, curly hair, frizzy hair, whatever. So I don't really remember like what my hair type was growing up. I just know it was super long. Like I could remember certain things, like my grandmother had a long hallway in her house. Like I can remember just kind of like bouncing down the hallway and my hair would kind of like bounce and stuff like that. And then it was like to the top of my back. Like I do remember that. I remember, you know, it wasn't like super tight curls. It was more on the wavy side. Like I would definitely say my curl pattern has changed as I've gotten older and I've learned how to take care of my hair. But back then it was a little bit looser. It was definitely frizzy. It was really dry. It was poofy, you know. It was typical, you know, curly hair basically. So that's really what I remember. Now I say that's the pre-phase because that's when I can say like things were, I guess, normal for me. Like I felt like a regular kid. One day, I don't even know what the reasoning was or why, but my grandmother, and when I reference my grandmother, I'm strictly talking about my white grandmother, whom I love so much. She would always like wash my hair and put it in like these really tight ringlets. So, and like I'm probably gonna insert some pictures throughout this video. I don't know, but if I don't insert them in here, you can definitely head over to my blog, which I will put down in the description, so you can like see all those crazy photos. But I'm gonna try to. So she would put my hair like in these ringlets, right? And they were super long ringlets. Like they were so just like so, they were perfect. They were perfect little ringlets. And up until the day she died, she still kept them like in this little box. Like I would go into her like entertainment center and pull out the second drawer, the second long drawer, and I would move like some of her documents, and then like these little boxes that we used to get, like I'm gonna tell my age, but like they used to get these little boxes where like checks would be inside. Yes, my curls were wrapped like in tissue, and they were just like laying there gorgeous. But now I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, because that is what happened. My hair was put in ringlets, and for some reason, I don't know, she decided to chop all of them off. So I was about 4, maybe 5 years old when that happened. I know it was either pre-K or kindergarten, and that's kind of around the time where, you know, things get a little fuzzy for me. Sorry, because like I tried to block that out. So yeah, so like y'all, I'm sorry. So that was like, at the time I didn't know how it was gonna affect me until I got older. And that is really where my hair trauma began. I said I was not gonna cry because I'm over it now, but we'll get to that. But anyways, so yeah, so that is like the post phase, where really like the trauma, you know, and me kind of like stumbling through life started. So the post phase is really post chop, the post big chop. So yeah, like I said, I was about 4 or 5 years old. So if you can imagine a little girl who has like this super mini fro, and it wasn't even like a cute fro. Like right now, my daughters, they fro their hair and it is like bomb. Like their hair is so perfect, and mine was not like that. It was it was so just like uneven. It was like half curly, half straight. I don't know, like, to be honest, it was not like, it was a mini fro. My hair was between like 1 to 2 inches, well maybe a little bit long, like, okay, so like 2 to 3 inches long, my hair, and it was in a fro. And you know, like I said, growing up in the early 90s, not everybody had access to, you know, just the knowledge of how to take care of different hair. So being raised by my white side of the family, it did make it difficult for my hair to look like intact, or for my hair to be presentable and not just like, oh, chop it off and it's good, you know, because it wasn't. Like maybe if I picked it out and styled it a little bit, it could have been rocking, but for the most part, no, it wasn't. So going into elementary school, pretty much majority of that time I was just rocking we'll call it an oblong fro. So it was just, it was short, it didn't make any sense. I remember right after it was cut, like I remember walking into the back room where my brother was, and he like instantly made fun of me, and it was just like, is this what's gonna happen? Is this gonna be like my new norm? Like, you know, I didn't really know. Like, I was just confused. Like, my grandmother had really short hair. Like, she always kept it super short. And I was just like, well, why doesn't my hair look like my grandmother's? Why doesn't my hair look like my mom's? It's cut pretty much the exact same way, but it's like not laying down. It's like this, just little curls. I'm like, why doesn't it look the same? So I was really confused as to why my hair was different, because for most of the time when I would look at my mom or my grandmother or my cousins, like I felt like we were the same. Like, I knew I was a little bit different. I knew like my hair was really curly. I know I had a tan. I knew I was mixed, but I didn't know like what the exact difference was, if that makes sense. Like, I felt like if I looked at my cousins, I felt like we were just the same, you know? Like does that make sense? Do you feel, are we on the same page? I hope so. But so yeah, that's kind of where I was with that, like after post chop, just really confused and not understanding like why. So after that, I remember she's now like one of my best friends. This girl, I mean, she would come to school. Her hair was always braided. It was twisted. It had ponytails. She had clips. I mean, like, I was so infatuated with her hair. And she probably, like, to this day, like, we've had this little conversation before, but I think to like this day, she never will fully realize like what it was like for me to see her hair. You know, by the way, she was black. She is black. So for me to see her hair like in all these, you know, crochet braids, to see like all these clips and twists and braids, and I'm just like, all I could do was just go, wow. Like, like I wanted to touch her hair all the time, which I now know, y'all, do not touch my hair. I get it. But like, I always was just like infatuated with her hair. Like, I had to touch her hair and I would always just go, your hair is so beautiful. Like, I want my hair like this. And it even got to a point where it was just like, it was super awkward. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I could tell it made her feel uncomfortable because she probably didn't like experience that every day or whatever unless she was around me. But I would just kind of sit back and go like, I want my hair to look like that. You know, I don't want this little lopsided fro. I want those braids. I want those twists. Like, I want my hair to be like hers. And I loved it. So from, you know, pre-K to kindergarten, around there when my hair got cut, up until about 3rd grade, it was short. It took forever to grow, but when it finally did grow, it was like a frolet. Like, it was a fro and then a mullet. So y'all, like, I'm not even kidding. It was like a frolet. And so it was long enough to like I could put the back in a ponytail, but the front I couldn't really do anything with it. So like, I remember I would come home after school and like I would get my brush wet and like I would try to swoop it and like I would try to do something to the back, and I'm just like, okay, this is cute. Like, oh, I could do this at school tomorrow. But then like an hour later I would go back and I'm like, what's up with my hair? It don't look the same. It would be froed out but like apart. So so it did not work, and it still was like not 100% clicking with me that you got to put something in your hair, because up until then nothing was ever really put in my hair. At least I don't remember. So like I don't remember like any products going into my hair. I don't remember anything. Like I definitely know there was never like a hot comb or anything like that. I just think it was like literally wash and go, and that was it. But you can't, you know, you couldn't do that. So I didn't know. So leading up to 4th grade, you know, I was starting to feel a little bit confident. I could put my hair in a ponytail. It was no longer like the frolet or anything like that. One particular day, my entire confidence was shattered. I was literally back to square one, square negative one, if that's what you want to call it. We had a substitute teacher come in. She was older, you know, she really didn't hold back with what she had to say. But I remember like it was Spirit Week, and you know, that one particular day we could take our hats. It was hat day, so we could take our hat with us to school and wear our hat. So I was so excited. I could wear, you know, a hat. I could cover my hair. It was gonna be all good. So I remember sitting there in class, and it was like towards the end of the day, and it was like where the teacher would read, it was like where the teacher would read from the book to the class. It was like a read aloud time, basically. So I remember, like, I was at my desk, she was reading the book, and all of a sudden, like, something just, I don't know, she just felt the need to stop reading the book and look up in front of a room full of fourth graders and look at me and go, your mom needs to do something with your hair, you know. And it's like, of course everybody starts busting out laughing. They're laughing at me, they're thinking what she said is funny, and it's just like, I didn't know what to do. The only thing I could do was cry. So, you know, stop. So I left the room. So I left the room, and I went to the bathroom, and like, I just remember like crying immensely because I was embarrassed, for one. Like, you know, you're supposed to be a teacher, and like, I look up to you, but you embarrassed me in front of the entire class. Like, of course, you know, I didn't get upset at my peers because they were fourth grade. Like, you know, I wouldn't have expected anything less than a room full of kids to like start busting out laughing when someone is being made fun of. So there was that. But it hurt, and it brought me back to a place of like, a place of not knowing, and a place of like insecurities, and just really like hurt and confused because, you know, I see this older black lady who could be like a grandmother to me, and instead of saying something, you know, in private, just for one as a teacher, but also like being able to look at me and go, here's a little mixed girl who clearly doesn't know what she's doing with her hair. Let me offer some advice. Like, let me, you know, reach out to them. Like, let me do something to help. So like, that was my thought process of all of that. So it reverted me back to that initial feeling. Now, going into middle school, my hair fully grew out. I was able to do ponytails. Like, I was able to do more. Like, I would wear like these little buns, you know, from like 5th and 6th grade. Like, I would do like these little buns in my hair. Like, all my hair could fit into these little buns. So I would always do buns. But I still didn't know. Like, I knew to put pink lotion in my hair. I knew, like, my mom did try to do a perm one time. She took it out immediately. I think she thought my hair was gonna fry off. So I was still like really confused with that aspect. So in middle school, some of my friends that I see more often or on a regular basis that were older, I like looked up to them a little bit more. You know, they were Hispanic. So I would try to imitate what they would do, not realizing that my hair is not going to do what their hair does. So for like the first, you know, like 5th, 6th, maybe a little bit of 7th grade, like I would try to imitate their hairstyles. And it wasn't until picture day of 6th grade where like I started to have a whole new kind of like outlook, if that makes sense. So I remembered like taking pictures. My hair was just a hot mess because I was trying to imitate my Hispanic friends. And I think like my mom just had her final straw. She was just like, we're going to get your hair done professionally. Not Fantastic Sam's, not thinned out. Like, we're going to get it done. So we went to the salon that was recommended, and she permed my hair. So for one, so I got my first perm, 6th grade. I don't remember like everything. I just remember hearing her tell my mom, the longer it's on, the straighter it will be. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna sit here all day. And then a couple times she would come over and say, is it burning yet? Let me know when it burns. Well, I didn't know like what that really meant, but I'm like sitting here fighting it. I'm just like, nope, it don't burn. I'm good. Like, I wouldn't say it was burning. Like, my head was on fire, y'all. Like, it hurt so bad, but I sat there and just took it because I wanted my hair to be straight. Like, I wanted it to look like my mom's or my grandma's. So finally she came back and was like, okay, this has been on long enough, I'm just gonna take it out. When she took out my perm, I grit my teeth so much because every time she like went like this or like this, my head would just like burn. Like, I had so many sores in my head. It was insane. Like, it hurt so bad. So I sat at the salon for, you know, a while longer. I don't remember all what I was doing there, but I just remember the feeling of her spinning that chair around when she was done. I felt like Aaliyah, y'all. I'm not even kidding. She swoops my hair, she bumped it, it was pressed, it was perfect. I remember just going like this and I was like, my hair, it was perfect. It literally was like the best thing ever. I felt like Aaliyah in that moment, and I was just like so excited. So I didn't understand that after I got my hair done, because picture day was the next day, I did not understand that when I went home I had to wrap my hair up. I had to, you know, put something over it. I didn't know any of that, and I feel like that's kind of where the ball was dropped on her end, but that doesn't really matter. But I just remember like going home and went to bed. I woke up the next day, it was like, it was straight, but the bump was gone, the swoop was misplaced, like nothing was right. So I didn't know how to fix it. So I immediately go, I'm gonna do what my Hispanic friends do. Their hair straight, I'm gonna do that. So I did that. My school pictures, my hair was straight. I still looked a hot mess because it was like I was trying to still imitate something that I wasn't, that I didn't even know, you know, what I was doing. So it was still just like a super hot mess. But in that moment, getting my first perm, being at a real salon, I don't, like, it did something to me to go, I have to know more. I can't just wait for somebody to help me, you know? So I would ask more of my friends like, hey, you know, what do I do? Or like, how did you do this? And then in 7th grade, my confidence elevated a little bit more because I now had another close friend who was braiding. So, you know, I would always be like, hey girl, can you braid my hair? You know, like I would always ask. And I also don't think she would really realize it because I never just was like, I don't know what to do with my hair. Like I never just came out and said that. So that's on me. But, you know, I would say, I really want you to braid my hair. Can you braid my hair? And it would be braided and I would feel more like confident and I would feel like more of myself. But I was still just kind of like questioning it. Does this look right on me? Does this fit me? You know, is this normal? It never really like sunk in that, yeah, this is good. Like this is what you want. This is what you need. So I would still have like internal battles with that every time I would see like my hair braided. I loved it, but it was still just kind of like a insecurity of, does this fit me? Like, is this right for me? So after middle school, you know, I'm going into high school. I'm feeling more confident in like the things that I'm doing. Like I started, you know, trying hair dye. You know, I would try to wear my hair, you know, naturally curly. It wasn't always right. Like I didn't know, I still was struggling with products and stuff like that. So it didn't always look the best. But most of the time it would just be straight. Like I knew, you know, I had a flat iron, I could straighten it out and it would be all right. So I did that quite a bit. You know, I still wasn't fully properly taking care of my hair. Like I wasn't always putting it up at night. I wasn't, you know, washing it properly. I was still over washing it. It wasn't until like maybe 11th grade where I slowed down washing and started using the correct products. I was still washing my hair like once a week, maybe every other week. So I was still, you know, drying my hair out and stuff like that, not really knowing the damage that I was doing. I was just thinking like my hair is gonna be clean, whatever. So I struggled with that for a while throughout high school. But on the back end, I think that helped me like want to connect more. I decided in 10th grade, I'm going, you know, to college eventually. I want to go to an HBCU. So one of my friends back in the day, you know, he told me about this school in Texas and I was like, cool, it's an HBCU. I didn't get into the other ones that I wanted to go to. That doesn't matter. But I was like, cool, it's an HBCU. I gotta go. I was always going to the Juneteenth celebrations. You know, I would drag my mom to the Black Expo in Kansas City, you know, every year. But I would go with the full intention of connecting, with the full intention of learning about me, not just about my hair. I mean, my hair was like one of the main reasons, but it wasn't the only reason. Like I wanted to know like what that's like to constantly be like, you know, free in my blackness. Because even though like, yeah, I would go to my friend's house who were black, I would have to come home and it wasn't. And I struggled with that a lot because I never fully felt like I was free in it, or like I could, you know, learn or just fully immerse myself into it. So I made the decision to go to an HBCU. I made the decision to go to all of these celebrations so that I could know me more. And looking back, if I never would have experienced, you know, my hair trauma that I did at a young age, I don't know if I would be here, like where I am now. I don't know if I would fully be confident in my blackness. I think I would just look at myself as mixed. And now that like I'm aware, it's like I know I'm black. I'm a black woman who's mixed. And I think going through that, especially at such a young age, like it added the fuel to the fire to like want to get there, and not just want to but need to, really. And it fueled that need to feel connected. So that was something that, you know, I really kind of had to learn and struggle through in high school. And you know, I went to an HBCU for a while. You know, my husband is black, my children are black, And you know, even the beginning stages of like our marriage, like there were still things that I struggled with that I just didn't understand. But my husband and I had many conversations, many talks, and you know, just getting the understanding and the realization of like, okay, this is why this is the way this is, or that is why it's not that way. And so being able to do that, it gave me so much more confidence that I can chop my hair off. Like, I don't know if y'all seen in my last video, my hair was super long, but my aunt just chopped my hair off, and I know like it looks good. Well, maybe not right now because it's like a little frizzy. I just got off work, but I can chop my hair off and I can be confident. I can wear my hair natural and be confident. I can dye my hair and be confident. I can get braids and I can be confident. And I know that it fits me. And I know that it may not seem like a big deal to people, you know, maybe to people who, you know, are non-black, or to people who are black, it may, you know, not seem like a big deal. But when you're mixed and you grow up with your white side, it is a big deal to know that, like, okay, I can do this, like I can wear this, I can rock this, whatever. So, and as you know, the internet saying goes, I know y'all know, mixed people hit different when they're raised by their white side. It is true. I'm not gonna lie, because I knew mixed people who were raised by their black side, and we were like completely different ends of the spectrum. So it definitely, you know, makes sense now that I'm older. I'm not gonna say how old, but now that I'm older, it definitely does make sense. So with all of that being said, one, I apologize for like crying on camera. I always said I would never do that. Here I am. Here I am crying on camera. But besides that, like, just knowing that journey that I went through, the hair trauma that I went through as a young age, the, you know, humiliation that I went through being younger, the lack of knowledge that I went through being older, and even just like certain insights and stuff that, you know, by asking questions, and the friends that I had that were there that were helping me but didn't really realize that they were, it made me feel so much more confident, and it made me just really proud to be who I am. And it's given me such a relief as well to be able to face myself in the mirror and know, like, this is who I am, this is, you know, me, this is my journey, whatever it is. So yeah, that is me and my hair journey and my hair trauma story. I'm sorry this is a little bit doom and gloom, but like I said, I'm gonna try to insert some pictures throughout the video. If not, you can definitely check out my blog. I'm gonna put that in the description so you can see y'all, those pictures. It took a lot of courage for me to post those pictures, because I'm gonna let y'all know, I have been married almost 14 years. My husband didn't even see those pictures until maybe we had been married like 3 years, maybe 4 years. It took a long time for him to see the pictures, but I'm about to put them out there all willy-nilly for y'all to see. So yeah, so thank y'all for watching so much. Leave a comment, say whatever, give this video a like, subscribe. Let me know if you like this video, or if you prefer me to stay in the other lane and just keep it light and fun, whatever. But yeah, thanks y'all, see you next time, bye.